No, it's in this has been a fairly common problem here. Every man and his dog. There's just too many devices on the internet, on the Wi-Fi. I've got to boot a whole heap of them off.
Welcome to GCP Bytes, episode number 48 for Friday, the 28th of August, 2026. GCP Bytes is a podcast where we discuss Google Cloud and tech, and I'm your host, Stephen Bancroft. On today's show, it's Windows NT's birthday. Google is spending more money, what a surprise. New South Wales to bring in nation-leading data centre regulations. Plus, is the AI landscape changing? Find out in the AI wars. But before we get to any of that, I'd like to introduce our very own GDE, Ian Brown. How are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. We're missing Dave. Where is he?
We are missing Dave today, unfortunately. Right at the coalface, reporting to you live. Dave's been stuck on a P1 incident most of the night.
Yeah.
Not only we report the news and do a podcast, but we are actually living and breathing it as well. So,
yeah.
Can't go into too many details, but we think there was a major problem with a VMware estate.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been there trying to fix all of that up.
Yeah, poor bugger's been working his little heart out until I think I messaged him about 10 o'clock last night, and he said, yeah, it was back up and running, so good fun.
And then there would have been a mop-up for a few hours after it, I imagine, as well.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Usually is with something like that. But I managed. So I didn't get pulled into that, fortunately. And
I didn't even know it was happening.
No,
all I noticed was that Teams and the internet had disappeared. So I went, I'm going to go and pick up my glasses if I can't work.
And I did try to log into my Citrix this morning and couldn't do that. So I hope that's not some residual problem that's floating around that's going to bite them in the face this morning. But we'll see how that goes. So I did get some time to prepare for the show, which is always good. And we are recording a little bit late. We're recording on Friday morning because Dave wasn't available, but that's okay. We're flexible here. That's fine.
Yeah, Definitely. So what's been going on, dude?
What's been going on? Well, I've had a bit of a play around with my home lab the last fortnight. I had it in a GitLab private repo. And up until now, just so secrets. Just commit them to the repo, not worried about that.
Oh, you evil man.
Private repo, so, it's all right, kind of. So I thought, I should clean all that up. So, of course, I had the old dev in there. And I said, look, let's set about removing all these secrets from this repo, and what's the best strategy to manage these secrets? And it suggested Ansible Vault, and I hadn't used Ansible Vault before. But if you don't know, Ansible Vault is it's an encrypted file that you can commit to the repo, and you use a single password to unlock that encrypted file, and then you can make edits to that encrypted file, and then the passwords are passed through back as a variable back into Ansible, and then they just appear as a variable in Ansible that can just pull it in from the vault, and then that password appears as a secret in the Git repo.
Sort of similar to the Puppet. Encoded secrets and so perfect solution. I had Devon IDE scan the repo, make a catalog of all the secrets, then it put them all into Ansible Vault. And I was fortunate because it's a private repo. I knew exactly where the repo had been cloned. Basically on my two workstations. That's it. So I was able to delete those clones and then also have Devon remove all the secrets from the previous commits, purge them from the previous commits. And then I did a force push back to GitHub and deleted all the previous commits with the secrets in there. So my secrets have been purged from my repo.
Good work.
There was a couple that I did rotate, not because I was concerned about them being in there, just through other necessities that they ended up needing to be rotated. And I now have a nice clean repo without any secrets in it, and I feel much, much better.
Very nice.
Now, while I was at that, I managed to do a few other little bit of trickery pokeries. I remember I bought that Tesla P4 card. It was less than $100, right?
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't have tensor cores on it, so doing inference on it is a bit meh. How's your father, right?
Yeah.
So I had read separately online that it is an excellent transcoder for Plex.
Ooh.
So I rebuilt my Plex server. That's all in Ansible now as well, because that was a bit manual previously. And it passes through the Tesla P4 from my server's motherboard, and that spins up now as a VM, not a container, and it got the Tesla P4 drivers on there, and Plex just sees it and it uses that as a transcoding hardware now. Works
cool.
Beautifully. Works beautifully.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Now I also had Devon. I said, look, Plex doesn't really perform the way I expect it to perform. So Devon slowly got full SSH and sudo access to all my boxes. So it SSH'd on there, had a bit of a snoop around and said, you probably want to make a couple of changes to your NFS mounts. And you probably want to enable, there was some IP sys4 thing, and probably want to enable that. Oh, and you want to set this changing to your, want to set these couple of changes to transcoding. Would you like me to go ahead and do that? Yeah, do that and update the Ansible playbook while you're at it. So Wayne did it, rebooted Plex. Oh boy, now Plex is it's a monster now. You click play and it's, you can't take your finger off the button quick enough and the video plays.
Okay.
That's how quick it spins up. Up the
awesome.
stream. It's really fast.
I'll tell you what, speaking of slow things, I've got this issue at the moment with one of the hosting servers that hosts the shooting score system that I built. And on the test server, so these two machines are identical. They are identical in operating system. They're identical in configuration. The whole works and jerks. Everything is exactly the same. So I SSH onto one. It's instantaneous. You jump on it. It gets you into the login prompt straight away. The other one, the production one, it takes probably 3 minutes to actually get to the command prompt on the box.
The command prompt or the SSH login prompt?
No. So once you've logged in, so you do your SSH login with a public key, public-private key pair, and you get dropped onto that prompt, right, with your flashing cursor.
Yeah.
It takes about 3 minutes to do that, and I was like,
it's DNS.
It's got to be DNS.
Yeah,
it's not,
because SSH does a reverse lookup.
Yeah, no, it's not DNS. So I went through all the tests. Like I got Claude to have a look at it. I got Devon to have a look at it and give me ideas of what to do. And then I went to Gemini and asked it as well to see if it had any different ideas.
Getting desperate.
They're all sitting there going, it's DNS. And so I do a time host back to my IP address, and they're within like 1,000th of a second of each other. So I'm like, it's not DNS because they're both resolving me instantaneously. That wouldn't.
Does Devon, have you given Devon actual SSH and sudo access to log onto the box?
No.
And do its own investigation?
No.
Do that.
Okay.
Get brave, do that, and let it go.
Right.
Okay, so there was that, and then while I was at it, I had this GTX 2060. So did the same thing. I just had Devon say, hey, I want to set this up with Olama, and I pass it through. It went on to Proxmox, made all the changes. It went and spun up the VM, did all the pass-through. I was hands-off, and I now have an Olama instance with a pass-through GTX 2060, and I can do inference with Gemma 3 8B.
Wowzers.
Works great.
That's awesome.
And it was completely hands-off. It was unbelievable.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That is really good. Hey, speaking of changes to AI, Anthropic has changed their data retention rules. You see that?
Yeah, what is this all about?
So essentially, once upon a time, business customers' data would be used to train the Anthropic models. But now Anthropic has changed it up a little bit to give enterprise customers greater control so that they can control whether their data is used to advanced AI models.
Okay.
You've still got to keep your data for 30 days. But what Anthropic is doing is giving you the option to keep it on your own cloud infrastructure or whether you keep it in Anthropic's infrastructure.
Right.
So it's a bit more security, I suppose, for those who are a little bit concerned about what's happening with the data that they're putting into the AI.
And that might meet some data sovereignty laws as well, some regional data sovereignty laws.
Yeah, quite possibly. Yeah, definitely. And I do love the article that I found here on IT News. It gives you the rundown of what's happening. And the very last sentence. On Wednesday, rival OpenAI announced a system that avoids retaining customer data altogether.
Right. So, correct me if I'm wrong here, Gemini's always been like this though, right? If you've got an enterprise edition of Gemini, it actually says at the bottom, your data is not used to train our model.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the others, which is, I suppose, why the other companies came, their models sort of leaped forward as opposed to just crawl forward because they were using customer data to train the model, whereas Google wasn't. For those who are paying for the service, Google wasn't using your data.
Right.
But Google's got access to whole heaps of other data, so they've got access to the entire YouTube library.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So everything that gets uploaded, so others don't have that access. So Anthropic and OpenAI and all the rest, they don't have that access.
They don't have that data. No.
They can't just pull down videos and start trawling through them.
No. This explains the VO, right? The way VO is.
Yeah.
Well, look, while on the subject, I didn't have it here in the notes, but there's a new Google Cloud professional certification coming out, Professional Agentic Architect Certification.
Ooh.
The beta of it launches next month, but if you go on to Google Skills, the training for it is there, and I have started it. I've done the first couple of modules, and we've got understanding Google Cloud Agents, lift off Google with anti-gravity, which I just kind of skimmed through because, anti-gravity is not the greatest compared to the ones that we've been using. Agentic strategy, discover, design, and prototype. Agent behavior, it goes on and on and on and on. All about agents, all about Google Gemini Enterprise. And got the certification there now to prove that you know the stuff.
Nice.
So
I'm going to have a look at that.
Go and have a look at that, if you want to skill up.
Yeah, I've just thrown the link into the run sheet for us.
Yeah, nice. And
the biggest news of the week.
Yeah. Our favourite operating system, Windows NT, it's 30 years old.
Yeah, on the 24th of August, it was 30 years since NT4 became available.
New technology, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. So, and this article, I read through it, it's like all these memories coming back to me about, Windows 95, it was launched, but it didn't have a web browser. That was a paid-for optional extra with the Plus Pack.
Can you believe it?
I remember the Plus Pack because I bought it once and then went, I get pinball. This is amazing. I'm keeping pinball. And then
you're probably using Netscape Navigator at the time, right?
I was.
Yeah,
indeed.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. What's this Internet Explorer rubbish? No one will ever use this.
Yeah. Certainly not if you've got to pay for it. There's so many things like, did you know Pacimcia card support didn't come out in NT until Windows NT 3.51?
Pacimcia. No one says Pacimcia. PCMCIA.
No, Pacimcia.
PCMCIA.
And same with file compression on NTFS.
No, that was a later thing as well. Yeah.
Yeah, 3.51.
Yeah.
And Open Accelerated.
And Linux still doesn't have a native file system that does file compression.
No.
You can use ZFS that does it, but
Yeah, but
not out of the box.
No, there is. I thought ButterFS did file compression out of the box.
May well do, but I mean, I'm talking ext4. You know, there's, you know, you're not your native ones. You're not, you know, ButterFS. You've really got to go out of your way to make it work, get it going.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, the differences here. You're reading through this article, and it just brings back memories of what the operating system looked like versus Windows 95, and how very similar they were, but how much it cost to run them. So one of the key takeaways I took of this, Microsoft's two separate and independent OS product lines had very different UIs. So the first release of Windows NT was called NT 3.1, keeping in harmony with the existing DOS-based Windows 3.1. It was remarkably stable and reliable, but required formidable PC for 1993.
It did.
So to give you an idea, it required a Pentium CPU with a whopping 16 megabytes of RAM, which sounds like pittance these days, but back then, that was going to set you back about 15 grand in today's money, just to run the operating system.
Yep, and you couldn't even game on it.
No, you couldn't game on it at all.
You're not gaming on it.
No, because NT didn't have any ability to game at all.
Didn't have any
Windows 95.
Any of the DOS or any of the DOS drivers,
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, it brought back memories of just how far we've come with operating systems now. Like, people don't have to think about things. They just do stuff on their operating system and expect it to work.
Yep. And then we moved to NT5, which was actually Windows 2000. Now, I did run Windows 2000 for a little bit. And the reason I ran it is because I had a motherboard which was called a BP6, the Gigabyte BP6, and it had dual 500 meg Celerons on it.
Ooh. Back when Celeron wasn't a dirty word.
Well, apparently Intel was never designed to be able to do this, but the Gigabyte made this BP6 motherboard, and it had dual 533 meg Celerons on it, but you needed an NT kernel to have the multi SMP support.
SMP. Yep.
Right, and so I had to go Windows 2000. I remember gaming on 2000 because 2000 was like the hybrid between the sort of the two when the two landed, right?
Yeah, it was when they started merging all of the extensions in the CPUs into Windows NT.
That's right, and you still had some DOS functionality there that enables you to still run games.
I remember running Windows 2000 Server and Advanced Server in data centers for years, and then I had a Windows 2000 workstation. It was the bane of my existence because it wasn't anywhere near as stable as Windows NT4. But hey, you could play videos on it. That was its takeaway.
Had the codecs to play videos.
yeah, literally had the codecs to play videos. Windows NT4 just didn't
have any of that, did it? Nah. No DirectX here. Get out.
Yeah, exactly. No, I was in the military back in the days when NT4 was released, and wowzers, that was a long time ago.
Now we had these hybrid Unix workstations that could run. They could run an X session and Windows NT4 on.
Really?
They were trying to roll them out at where I was working at the time at OTC before it became Telstra, and they had two or three of them, and I was like LAN, not even network support. I was in LAN support. That was the group I was in, and we still had 10 meg coax going around at that point too. And they had these workstations that were basically NT4. You could boot into NT4, or you could run an X session up on them. It was wow. Yeah, it was this cool things. They were. I can't remember now. There was some HP thing that could do both. Yeah,
HP UX.
It was a HP UX thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just trying to find it here. It's like there's a whole heap of information about HP UXs. But I had a HP UX machine for years. Little pizza box.
The good old days, hey? The good old days.
Reminiscing.
Anyway, I stuck a little meme in our notes here. Windows Cement, CEMENT, as hard as a rock and dumb as a brick.
Yep. That was about right too.
All right. With the banner out of the way, let's get on with the community news. And just as well you're here, Anne, because you can do the community news. Take it away.
Cool. So GDG Brisbane's DevFest is happening on the 17th of October at 9:30 a.m. It's happening at QUT Gardens Point, P Block in Brisbane City. So get along to that. It's currently in call for speakers. It will be a really good event, as the Brisbane DevFest generally are, or DevFest in general generally are. Cool. Moving down to Sydney, an evening with Google DeepMind is happening at the Google Sydney office in Pyrmont. That's on the 1st of September at 5:30 p.m. And there's already 157 people RSVP'd for that. So, yeah, that will be a really, really cool little night.
Expect an inside look at DeepMind plus Q&A and networking. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that is interesting timing for that too, isn't it?
Yeah, very interesting. We'll go into that one a bit later. Moving down to Melbourne. DevFest Melbourne is happening on the 3rd of October. Yes, we're getting a little bit out here, but tickets to Melbourne's events are hard to come by, so get in now. 3rd of October at 8:30 a.m. DevFest Melbourne is happening at the William Angliss Institute in Latrobe Street in Melbourne. But yeah, get onto those tickets because they will go very quickly. And last but not least, we have GDG Canberra is running Building the Future with RAG using Gemma 4 and MongoDB Atlas. That's happening at Watso Dixon and on 10th of September at 6 p.m. And it's already got 29 people, so jump along to that one.
What are you doing with Gemma 4 and MongoDB and RAG? Is it like some mapping thing, MongoDB Atlas?
Okay. So they've got an expert from MongoDB guiding the practical session, so it is actually a practical session.
Yeah.
You get a chance to build, experiment, learn more about some of today's AI tech.
Yeah.
So maybe they're using MongoDB to store some RAG results, or so, I don't know.
Yeah, this is something I want to play around with. I want to set up my model to have an unstructured data store in something like MongoDB or something like that.
Sounds like you need to drive down to Canberra on the 10th of September, mate.
Yeah, give that a go. All right, well, with the community news done, let's get on with the news items. And first news item this week is Google. What a surprise. They're going to spend some more money. Sundar Pichai raised Alphabet's CapEx guidance to $205 billion. The same quarter, Google Cloud backlog hit $514 billion.
Yeah, this is huge numbers. It really is.
That's why I had to slow down and actually read the numbers properly because it's just, the key points here, Alphabet expects to spend upward of $200 billion in 2026 on data centers, servers, networking equipment and chips. Raising capital expenditures are taking a toll on Alphabet's free cash flow. The company's AI backlog from Google Cloud exceeds $500 billion.
Yeah.
A lot of money committed.
And those last 2 points are the interesting ones to me. Like the amount of money that they spend is they are sort of getting it back in the way that they're building chips and all that sort of stuff that everybody wants. So I get that bit. The cash flow thing is going to be a problem if their cash flow reduces that much. But the backlog is the one that really gets me, is their backlogs just seems to be getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Didn't they just get a water cache off Anthropic anyway?
Yeah, everybody's giving them wads of cash. It's just
wads of cash. Yeah,
like they're bringing it in by the semi-trailer, but the issue becomes that they can't produce the TPUs fast enough for productionizing.
Can't build the data centers. Can't get the power and water. Can't put the chips and build it up quick enough to productionize it. Yeah,
like everybody wants like a data center's worth of TPUs now. But that's going to take 24 months to build and productionize. So, yeah.
And as we'll see later, they're starting to hit the backlash now as well.
Yep.
Which is not making things easy.
No.
Like, I love the technology. We work in the technology. It keeps us employed. You know, data centers, you know, are necessary to make it work. But, you know, at what's the cost? This is the thing, right? We've got to be careful here at the cost of to the environment and to other sectors of the economy, right? Because it's just sucking the life out of everything at the moment.
Yeah, it is.
Alphabet pouring unprecedented sums into artificial intelligence infrastructure precisely because customer demands, quantified by its towering backlog. You know, demands, well, give me some more credits on my Gemini plan, please.
Yeah.
It's just...
or more to the point, stop changing the Gemini plans. Because that's annoying the living daylights out of me.
Look, this article goes into it, understanding the backlog and how they're spending their CapEx. But look, I mean, Google's not the only one doing this, right? They're all spending money on AI infrastructure, and no one seems to be able to meet this insatiable demand.
Yep.
That's right. Down to. A couple of industry news items. Social media firms urged caution on early Australian under 16 ban. It's not working.
No, well, so it sort of is, but it's not. So what the government's trying to do is they're trying to ramp the penalty, like double the maximum penalty from, I think it was $49 million to, they want to double it to $99 million.
A penalty that's never been enforced.
That's right. So. But they want to double it to try and scare the social media companies into actually complying.
Nah.
What the problem that they've got is, when I read this article in depth, is that the data that they're using to say, hey, you're not complying, is 6 months old. So this only came in at the end of last year.
Yeah.
And the data they're using is from March.
Yeah, so really hadn't taken effect yet.
Yeah, and we're in August, and they've got a parliamentary inquiry into it, and the parliamentary inquiry is asking the likes of YouTube and TikTok and Meta and all these other companies, why haven't you complied? And they're like, well, because your data's 6 months old.
Yeah. Get some real time. I mean, it's government. Yeah. It's so government, right?
It is,
so government. Yeah, so the article here on IT News, top social media platforms urge the Australian government not to place too much weight on early evidence showing most children still use their products despite a landmark under 16 ban, as lawmakers weigh tougher penalties and investigate powers for regulators.
Yeah, so they're saying here that, well, their reports are showing that 80% of minors are still on social media.
Mm-hmm.
And and it quotes here, months after the ban took effect in December. What they don't say outright is that the government's latest published compliance data was from March of this year.
Right. Well, we know it took time. My daughter's 15 and she uses YouTube, you know, as they all do. And she still had a YouTube, like her Google account showed that she was logged into YouTube for, well into February. And then eventually it disappeared, and it's got the sign-in thing there, and she can't sign in, right?
Yeah.
So that
down
took
the
a while.
bottom of this, and down the bottom of this article, and my young fella's seen it with Facebook, because he's trawling Marketplace for a car. He wants a car, and he's trawling Marketplace to try and find one, and then every now and then Facebook will go, oh, hang on, you're not over 16, remove. And he goes and creates another account, and it's a revolving door of accounts for him.
Whack-a-mole.
Yeah, literally. But down the bottom of this article, it says here, Meta released figures showing that it had deactivated 756,000 Instagram and Facebook accounts suspected of belonging to underage users. So that's not even confirmed underage users. That's just like, we think you might be underage. We're going to whack your account. YouTube said Google has stopped about 740,000 holders of Google accounts from accessing YouTube. And TikTok has said they've taken down 550,000 accounts.
Yep.
So,
and then, I mean, we don't have a story on it, but to go along with this, you've got the big case against Meta in the US, which, Meta have been found liable of causing harm to children through their algorithms, and have to pony up. I can't remember the exact figures now, but they've got to pay some damages. Let's see where that ends up, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's going to be a big one, I think.
There'll be some repercussions, yep. In the meantime, if they're trying to push code to fix these problems, well, they're probably not doing it on GitHub.
It has been a dumpster fire of outages since Microsoft took over. It really has.
Yeah. Like, the AI bots are strong.
Oh, yeah. So have you seen that graph that shows the uptime of GitHub over years? There's a graph online. I can't remember. I couldn't find it this morning before we jumped onto the podcast recording, but there is a graph there that shows the last sort of 10 years of uptime for GitHub. And it's like this solid 100%. And then Microsoft takes over in 2023 or something like that, whenever it was. And all of a sudden the graph is as jagged as a sawtooth roof.
Yeah, I think you did send that through on our private chat some time ago.
Yeah, it's quite disheartening to see. But this particular outage was back from the 18th of August, and GitHub, they opened up an incident on the 17th of August at 11:40 p.m., saying they're investigating reports of impacted services. 20 minutes later, they added API requests, actions, webhooks, issues, pull requests to the list. And by 12:04 a.m., it put the error rate at roughly 20% for web and API traffic. Archive downloads and raw repository content was failing at about 50%. Package installs, container builds, Go module fetches routinely pull files from the GitHub usercontent.com domain rather than cloning the repository outlet, which is why the error rate was so high. And if you're an enterprise customer and go, oh, it's all right, I've got all of the enterprisey features. Yeah, you weren't spared either. The identity layer was caught up in this. GitHub confirming that SAML and OICD authentication, SCIM provisioning, and TeamSync had also been affected.
So when do I move to GitLab?
Yeah. Well, and look, we have. One of my clients has a GitLab, a paid GitLab instance, and they're not without their faults either.
Right.
I routinely get emails every single week saying that, hey, we've had an issue with this or we've had an issue with that. It really is quite crazy that these systems can't stay online with any sort of regularity.
Well, I read, was it in this article or possibly some other article, GitHub's struggling to keep the infrastructure up because the level of repos and commits now with the agentic vibing has gone up like a hockey stick.
Yeah.
And every man and his dog is now creating some project and pushing it to GitHub.
Yep. Yeah. Well, that's what they're there for.
Yeah.
And it will come a time where they will say, well, okay, sorry, but you can only have. Back in the days when GitHub was not owned by Microsoft, you could only have, I think it was 3 or 5 private repos before you had to pay for it. And if you had open source repos, then you could have I can't remember the exact number. It wasn't unlimited, but you could have a number of open source repos, so public ones, without having to pay for it. But yeah. That was to control that sort of stuff.
But Microsoft must be loving it because, I mean, in the same way Google gets access to all the videos, Microsoft gets access to all the code to program their models, right?
Yeah, that's right.
The incident last week was the 14th GitHub had logged this month.
Yeah, and it was logged on the 18th of August.
Mm.
It's one every day and a bit.
Oh boy. All right. So yeah, if you're having problems pushing your code, then go and look up the GitHub down detector and it'll tell you. Speaking of data centers, New South Wales to bring in a nation-leading framework to harness New South Wales data center investment.
This is great, isn't it?
Yeah, so, this is a good initiative. New South Wales Data Centre Framework Policy will make sure future data centre investment is matched with increased investment in renewable energy and water infrastructure. This is what we want to hear. This is we find this is what's got to happen. You want to put a data centre in? Well, you can't just go sucking the water and the power and everything out of our environment, out of our networks. You need to contribute to that as well. Yep. The New South Wales Data Centre Guideline framework requires specific performance measures to achieve 6 principles, and they are: apply world-class environmental and efficiency standards, impose no net cost to consumers and communities, fund additional supply of water and energy, enhance local community infrastructure and amenity. So I like that. So if you're going to put a data center in, well, put a couple of parks in around it as well. And,
green space.
Yeah, put some green space around it. Enhance local community, invest in future industries across the supply chain. So, have some apprenticeship projects, some apprenticeship programs for the electricians and some IT internships going on as well, right? Demonstrate a commitment to training and skills to support jobs. So that goes hand in hand with it, right?
I love these 6 principles. The one that I like the most out of this is number 2. Impose no net cost to consumers and communities. A data center shouldn't be smashing the energy grid in that local community, causing higher power bills for everybody.
That's right. That's the problem, right? It just takes the supply away and creates high powers for everyone, costs for everyone. So regulatory reforms will ensure equitable cost recovery for energy infrastructure. Under the second pillar of the framework, New South Wales government will make regulatory changes to ensure that data centres pay for the electricity network upgrades they require so that the extra costs aren't shifted to the households and small business. Great. So suddenly you put a data centre in and we get more reliable power. Right. Yep. And we know that they're paying for it, right? Support more coordinated and efficient planning of the electricity network. Yes, of course. Especially now we're moving away from coal-fired, right? Saw a great video the other day on the duck curve. I'll explain what that is in a minute.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And support implementation of the measures in the guideline. So that's just reinforcing. And there's going to be an Office of AI to support all of this as well.
I did see this.
Let's hope they're just not dumb bureaucrats that actually don't know anything about AI. They actually need individuals in there that have worked at the coalface and know how this stuff works.
They get some lengthy document about how they're going to benefit the community, and some bureaucrat just rubber stamps it.
Yeah. All in up, there are 19 data center projects valued at $50.3 billion in the state. In the pipeline. This is in addition to more than 60 data centers that are already operating or under construction.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah. New South Wales is hot for data centers, right? I mean, it's where the cables land. That's the main thing, right? Yeah. I mean, we're in a position where we could, I mean, getting the water there might be an issue, but why not just build data centers out in the big blank desert and put batteries and solar there, and you pipe some water out there, I guess, and that, we've got the space to do it.
Well, you've also got the underground water as well, so there's no reason why Much like, well, hold on. So what happens
that has impacts?
It does, but I'm not saying that they should be able to drain the basin entirely. But what I'm saying is, certainly out in, I'll take one of our power plants, for instance, in Queensland. We've got a gas-fired power plant out at Millmerran, and they pull underground water up into a dam, and that, as the dam rises and falls with rainfall and all that sort of stuff, they just keep it topped up with underground water, and they use that, and they cycle that through the power plant. It's used to cool the turbines off, and then it goes back into the dam to cool off again, and then it goes back in and does its job. So it's just constantly getting cycled.
Right. Well, if they're putting in all this power infrastructure, what's wrong with desal, right?
Well, that's right.
Yeah, it does take a lot of power to run a desal, but if you're doing it with renewables, right, and what's the problem, right? Just build that in as part of it. Just have a pipeline and just suck it from the ocean and desal it. There's your fresh water.
Well, the other side of that is you don't really want the data centers close to the water because that's where we live.
No, that's right. But we can build pipes. We have these things called pipes, right?
I know. We've got a massive one that comes from Queensland and New South Wales.
But yeah, getting back to the duck curve. So if you look traditionally at the power usage, you have your peak and your off peak, right? So your peak time is during the middle of the day, right? And then when the industry is on, and then you have these shoulder times when everyone gets home from work and they turn on their appliances and they burn some power, and then it drops away into the off peak during the evening.
Yep.
Right. Well, what's happened recently is we've got battery technology, battery and solar technology, right? So right now, Australia has this unfortunate problem where we have too much solar in the middle of the day. So they're giving power away. So you get these power plants now where you get like from 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock, or even more from 10 o'clock to
11 till 3.
11 till 3 or something like that. Different plants have different ones. Where you have free power. Because everyone's solar is feeding into the grid and there's an excess of power and they're just giving it away. Great. Nice. We want to get all free power. We want all the free power. Now, batteries, we've had a massive push on batteries lately. So I'll go back to that. So that's great for the middle of the day, but you get this phenomena called the duck curve. So at the end of the free power period, the power usage, you're still within that peak period. The power usage ramps up, right, until it hits the off peak, and then it drops back down again. So that particular curve at the end of that free power period, been calling the duck curve, right? And it's very hard up to now to flatten that out. Well, we've got batteries now. So what batteries have done finally is reduce the level of reduce that duck curve, reduce the demand on the network, and flatten that out, right? And I think the article, or was a YouTube video that I saw, was like we're like the first or one of the only countries in the world that have actually managed to do this through a battery program.
Yeah.
So that's the perfect time for those batteries to be drawn when there's not enough sun, but people are still using power, and then eventually we end up back into the off-peak cycle, and there's probably still enough battery, or there's enough base load to cover that. We almost now have a completely flat usage cycle in power, which is just unheard of, right?
Yeah, right.
Power prices should start coming down. In fact, I'm with Origin Energy. I was paying 33 cents a kilowatt. They've just announced a new plan, and it's dropped to 28 cents a kilowatt.
Yeah, God,
it's going to take $2,000 a year off my bill. So we're starting to see an effect here, right? This is great.
I would love to have that sort of level of like cost. Ours, I think, is sitting at about 43 cents, and you don't get much cheaper in Queensland. Apparently, we're a bit slow on the uptake with batteries. We've got a battery on our place, as you know. We got that put in probably a month ago now.
I've got a signed contract to install them, but I can't do it until my renovations are complete.
Yeah, fair enough. Our power usage has dropped dramatically. No, it hasn't dropped. It's changed dramatically.
Right.
So we don't pull from the grid from 2 o'clock until 11 o'clock. So 2 o'clock in the afternoon is when the free power ends, and we stop pulling from the grid, and we supply the house with battery and solar right through until 11 o'clock the next morning.
That's your duck curve right there. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then at 11 o'clock in the morning, we're pulling, 7 kilowatt hours from the grid to recharge the battery and supply the house. And like everything turns on at 11 o'clock in the morning.
Right. So I'm interested in the vehicle to grid capability as well. So if you've got 70 kilowatts sitting in your car, right, well, your car keeps your house running during that night period, right?
Yeah, right.
Right. And that tops up your battery. So then you've got your 50 kilowatts plus your 70, you've got 130 kilowatts to keep you going during the evening. And then the sun rolls around again at 11 o'clock and it just charges everything up. If you've got a DC to DC charger, it charges the car really quickly. So if you need to go anywhere, you're not stuck. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, that's if you have a look at the graph that I've got here is actually, it's got a whole heap of different colors in it, but it shows you how much solar we're putting in, and admittedly we are still in winter, but we're still generating in the middle of the day sort of 4.8 kilowatts out of a 5 kilowatt system. We do hit 5 every now and then, but not super regularly. But yeah, it's battery gets charged 11 o'clock in the morning. The battery starts taking full charge from the grid.
Yep.
Before that, it's charging from solar. From excess solar, I should say. So the house gets supplied first, and then the excess goes into the battery.
Nice.
And if there's a deficit of solar, then the battery supplies that adjustment. It just levels things off nicely.
Yeah, perfect. And so data centers have got to do this.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, they do this, and we're out of trouble. We can go to town.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, Intel's CPU market share falls to a 31-year low as AI mania fuels record growth.
I don't know that it was just AI mania. So, look, a lot of this was from Intel being a bit slack and letting AMD take the reins. And AMD, they grew. There's a quote here in the article that says, in the Mercury report, Intel's overall x86 CPU market share fell 6.5 points year over year and dropped by under 1 point sequentially to 69.3, as AMD's position grew as much as 30.7%, which, Intel's been bumping their prices up for their CPUs constantly, whereas AMD's been keeping them roughly the same. And so people are looking at the chips going, well, I can spend $1,000 on an Intel i something chip, or I can spend $600 on an equally spec'd AMD chip that will do just the same thing. I'm going to save the $400 because I'm going to need that to buy RAM, and they go to the AMD side.
Yeah, I went AMD on my last build. I think I'd go AMD again on another build. And,
I love the AMDs.
It's not like AMD don't have options. I mean, you can always go that Threadripper, right? If you want to go the big beefy one. But you're right. Intel always seems to be, you need to be buying a top of the line i7 or i9. If you anything else, it's just almost unusable.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And I've got my big PC that sits under the desk here. I don't use it very much. It's more my CAD design machine. That thing runs a Ryzen 5 5700X. It's a fantastic CPU. I could have gone the Ryzen 7. I didn't, because I didn't need to.
I went Ryzen 7 on my machine here.
I went the 5700X.
Yep. And this is the thing. Like, this is another sort of article I read recently as well. Most people, when they build a system with a whatever motherboard, let's say DDR4 era motherboard, AM4, don't use that motherboard to its full capability. They'll buy the motherboard, they'll buy some CPU that does the job, and they'll buy, maybe 16 gig of RAM at the time. And then when that machine gets too slow or old,
they'll bin it and upgrade the entire thing. Now, there are upgrade paths, right? And I've always done this with my machines. So first thing you might do is you might look at the RAM. You go, well, I can go up to a high speed RAM, tighter timings, and a little bit more, right? Mm-hmm. And so you just do that little upgrade. And then you might go, the video card's getting a bit daggy. I'll put in a new video card and get a bit more gaming performance out of it. And then you might say, oh, now the CPU, when I bought this motherboard 6-7 years ago, I couldn't afford the big CPU, but the big CPU now is in the second-hand market, right? Yep. So you go back and you find, what's the biggest CPU I can put in it? You go get it second-hand and put it in. There's another speed bump, right?
And the other one that people miss is, I did this to my Mac not that long ago, like last week, is reinstall your OS. Yeah. That gets rid of so much guff out of the OS. I did this, I'd been using my Mac here for 12 months or so. Mm-hmm. And, you know what it's like as a consultant. You're just constantly installing stuff or doing stuff on there. Wipe it, start again, and all of a sudden it is back to full speed like it's just come out of the box.
Well,
sort of.
Well,
it feels like it.
If I did that on my main workstation, the amount of music software and plugins I'd have to reinstall is astronomical, right?
Yeah.
My system that I'm running today in 2026 is basically an image of a Windows 7 system that I installed in 2008. I shit you not, right? Every time I build a new system since about 2008, I've never reinstalled because there's so much music software on there I'd never get it back to where it is.
Living in the modern day, Banky, living in the modern day.
What I do is I image it to an external hard drive, and that hard drive literally can boot the OS, build a new machine, and then I boot into that hard drive and I re-image it back to the SSDs, right? And while it's along the course, I've gone from Windows 7 to Windows 10 and now Windows 11. I've upgraded every time, and it's still that same base build.
Wowzers. No,
have I had problems? Yes, I have. Right? Have I been forced to fix these problems along the way? Absolutely, and that's what you do. You just fix it and you just carry on.
Yeah, I will generally reinstall the operating system on my computer maybe once every 2 years. And not for any reason other than, there's a lot of crap that builds up when you're doing so many different things on it. And I just reinstall it. It brings it back to a new feeling machine and off I go again.
Yep.
And so I've got a machine under the desk here that's 4 years old that still runs like the day it came out of the box. Well, it feels like it does.
Just get that debloat script. There's a Windows debloat script. I run that every now and then. That cleans it all up.
I don't run Windows, so I don't have that problem.
You don't like getting spied on.
There's no bloat in Slackware.
Speaking of being spied on, massive Azure exfiltration campaign exposes millions of enterprise records via compromised credentials. McDonald's, Vodafone, and others are all caught up in this.
Oh yeah, this is huge. And I mean huge.
Yeah.
So Microsoft's got about 1.7 million records that have been affected. Now, I'll step back a bit and say, at this point, the data exfiltration is happening under the threat actor's moniker, the Hat Man.
Right.
They're not really sure how this happened.
Yeah, how or what? It's a weird one. Yeah.
But needless to say that the security researchers that have seen the data believe that it's actually legitimate. So it is authentic details out of these. There is some speculation that there could be some compromised credentials that are common to all of these companies. But again, nothing's confirmed there.
Mm-hmm.
But to give you a sort of rough synopsis here, there's the numbers listed here. So McDonald's Corporation, 1.7 million records. Tata Consultancy Services, about 800,000. Vodafone's 425,000. HCL Tech is 250,000. Intercontinental Hotels Group, about 185,000. and the list goes on. There's a few others there, like Wyndham Hotel 9000.
And this is employee details, right? So
this is employee details.
Full name, email, employee ID, phone and address, that kind of data. Yep.
Yeah. So what they're saying is the corporate email addresses that are there are their on Microsoft.com addresses, which makes people think that this is a common credential set that's been used to grab the details. But yeah, it also has like org structure stuff, so employee IDs, job titles, departments, notes, manager details, and direct reports. User group membership, service accounts, highly privileged account records, such as global admin listings. There's a whole heap of data in here. So yeah, the InfoStealer connection. So apparently there is a connection to InfoStealer, which is a group. There's no definitive confirmation as to whether specific credentials were used to hack these orgs. However, Hudson Rock researchers were able to find compromised Azure credentials originating from InfoStealer infections linked to most of the affected companies. So there you go.
Right. But how? How is the question? Yeah.
Well, yeah, no one really knows that at this point, which makes this all the more dangerous because if we don't know how they got the data out, it means that they can still get the data out and we can't see it.
Who else is exposed? That's the question, yeah.
So if you're in Azure, we can safely say that you're probably exposed.
All right, well, we'll keep a close eye on that one. They're probably using something like Mythos to help them, I'd imagine. It's Mythos 5 hacks OSS, how a Texas student blew the whistle on a rogue AI hacking attempt. This is a good one too.
This is phenomenal. All right, so the key points on this one is a student spotted a supply chain hack on GitHub and later learned he'd been arguing with a rogue AI agent, not actually a human attacker. Britain's AI Security Institute identified the agent as powered by a Mythos 5 model, tested under what Anthropic called deliberately permissive conditions. And experts warn that AI creation of fake second persona to discredit the student shows AI models can mount sophisticated deception and social engineering attacks.
The lying.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Well, they're trained on us. And humans lie through their teeth. So yeah, this was a really interesting read in that this 24-year-old bloke has seen this attack happening. He's confronted the saboteur, who he believed was human, and he caught it red-handed. And then he was actually told by Britain's AISI, so the AI Security Institute, telling him that he'd actually been tangling with an autonomous artificial intelligence agent that had run amok. So,
in what?
There's words here, but I can't say them.
It had run amok, so it had targeted him. What was its? What was its motive? Why?
Well, it was hacking something, and then he interrupted it, and so then, in order to
cover
get
up
away,
its tracks,
so in order to get away with its primary aim of hacking whatever it was that it was hacking, it started up this second persona to discredit this student, right? So, so it attempted to publicly discredit the student by creating a multi-person conversation around him that was just spreading complete nonsense, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah, so we're in the era now where you can find AI doing the wrong thing, call it out, and the AI then mounts an attack against you for calling it out for doing the wrong thing.
There's a quote in the article here. This is the future of social engineering attacks.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. This is a... Yeah.
You've heard of the dead internet theory, right? When the whole internet, there's no humans on it. There's just bots.
It's just bots. Yeah.
Just doing this sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's
wow.
I go back to the movie Terminator, right? we're very quickly approaching that point where the bots take over.
Yeah, the internet's just becoming a sad, sad place. Remember when it was fun?
Yeah, I do. And we had memes that were the size of a postage stamp and used to take you half an hour to download.
Yeah, and you had ICQ and
yeah. And that's where the bullying started.
Yeah, well, that's where. But you had what was that other thing? Relay chat and FidoNet, stuff like that.
Oh yeah. Jeez, that's bringing me back.
Yeah.
The IRQs and
IRC, yep.
IRC, that's it.
Yep,
IRC.
yep.
Yeah, I still use HexaChat. So a lot of the open source software discussions is run on IRC.
Yeah.
So Fedora uses IRC predominantly for their developer chat.
I haven't used that for so long.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, yeah. Just watch out for this. If you're having a flame war with someone online, it quite possibly could be
it could be an agent.
It could be an agent. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, while we're having wars, let's get on with the AI wars.
AI wars.
Thanks for filling in for Dave there.
That's all right.
Massive exodus from DeepMind. We touched on it last week. What's this? We've got a blog article on here now. Jeff Dean's departure tells us the AI investment cycle is earlier than we think.
Yeah, look, this article, the key takeaway I got from it was that, okay, Google has lost Jeff Dean and Sanjay Gemawat.
Mm-hmm.
They've also lost a couple of other key people out of DeepMind, which is DeepMind's founder, Nobel laureate Demi Hassabis, and a couple of others. And at that exact day that they lost those people, Alphabet took a 4% hit.
Yeah.
Now, you sit there and go, 4%. Great. Wow. That's $185 billion.
Yeah. At these scales, that's massive.
Yeah. That's a huge amount of money. That's more money than I will see in my entire lifetime.
Mm.
So, yeah. So the other thing that it said in the article was superstars and superstar level people, the likes of Hassabis and Sanjay and Jeff and the likes, they all like to be on the same team, and that team that they want to be on is the one that's in the lead. So these are the guys that built Google.
So in a way, are they signaling that Google's no longer in the lead?
Possibly. I don't know. I don't know what the motive is behind their exit. I don't know whether Google or Alphabet instigated the exit or whether they instigated the exit. But to give you an idea of how important these guys were, one or more of the guys here, it says in the article somewhere, that one of these guys built AI scaling capability.
Mm-hmm.
So how Google serves data to people. Sanjay and Jeff, they sped up Google search by 10%.
Oh, yeah. I think reading between the lines in this article and taking this quote here, even if Google now allows the engineers who built its very foundations to leave, something about the way it allocates capital has changed. So I think what he's leaning to here is saying that I think Google are now at a point where maybe not happy to, but they kind of are going to just invest in building infrastructure. Their days of innovating are done. They've innovated as far as they need to innovate. They're no longer needed to have these, super smart people behind them. They just build this infrastructure.
They got their T8 chip now. They're in, the Tensor cores. They just build that and they just host stuff, and that's kind of it.
That's interesting because so earlier this year I went to the GDE Summit in Sydney, and one of the things that was shown was a flow chart on what Google is aspiring to with Gemini. So we started out with just chatbots, right? Google Gemini was just a chatbot back when it was Bard. And then
Don't mention Bard.
Yeah. And then we moved on. We moved forward to this AI that can do stuff for you. But it was very, very much contained, and it needed your permission to do stuff and all the rest of it. And then we moved forward into the field of agents, where the agents can do stuff sort of semi-autonomously. They still need your permission to do certain things, but for the most part, they can do it themselves. And then we moved to the final goal that Google had, was that the AI would be completely autonomous. You didn't have to have any input in it. It could just go and do whatever it needed to do.
And it causes outages on GitHub all the time.
Well, if you're using Copilot, definitely. I'm assuming Microsoft doesn't use their competitors' AI, which is why they've got... It explains a lot, yeah. So I don't think we've got to that final stage yet, which makes me think that DeepMind has, and it hasn't been released yet. If that narrative is to be believed, like, okay, we built the AI, it's got to the stage where it needs to be. We don't need all these really top talent people anymore. We'll just change where we put the money.
Yeah. That seems to be Gemini 4.
Maybe,
because we haven't seen. We've seen Gemini 3.7, and we'll get onto it a bit later. But it's pretty good. But like, where's Gemini 4?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
like,
where's the big model?
Yeah. So maybe they've climbed that mountain.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. They've climbed that mountain, and Google's just happy to sort of sit there, and they're not short of cash still,
Maybe they've got it to a point where they don't need the developers anymore because the model is developing itself.
Absolutely. And this is, was it OpenAI or Anthropic's latest model? This is what they did. They had it create its own code and train itself on its own code. I can't remember which model. We did mention that a few episodes ago.
Yeah, no, I do remember it. I don't remember which one it is either. But yeah,
there's been so many, I can't. So maybe we're at that point now.
Yeah, maybe.
The AI can reinvent itself.
The AI replaces humans.
Yeah. That's a scary proposition.
Speaking of replacing.
Speaking of replacing, NVIDIA. Now, I did have...
NVIDIA is replacing $250 billion guarantees with empty space. Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
Basically, yeah. An article in Wall Street Journal. NVIDIA downsizes plans for $250 billion guarantee of OpenAI data centers. Is it a smart move? I don't know. The revised plan would lower the size of NVIDIA's financial guarantee from $250 billion to less than $120 billion, by the way.
But this is a change to address investors' concerns about chip makers' risk exposure. So, I mean, NVIDIA is, at this point in time, the most valuable company in the world. And obviously, investors in the company don't want that to change because it makes them money. I wouldn't want it to change. It would make me money. So don't make yourself less valuable.
And they're nervous about NVIDIA being too overinvested in a single point of failure. So that they're overcommitting yourself to one single project leaves you open and vulnerable to losing a whole pile of money. And again, $250 billion with a B is a lot of money. Under the outline now being discussed, NVIDIA would provide a financial backstop for the first phase, totaling roughly 5 gigawatts of power, and then decide later whether or how to finance the remainder.
Yeah.
SP Energy.
Yeah, I was going to say OpenAI is still in discussions to sign a binding lease for 10 gigawatts.
Yes,
for the project.
That's right. Japan. So SP Energy, subsidiary of Japan's SoftBank, is developing the 10 gigawatt site, which would be the largest data center project announced to date. Staggering.
Yeah. 10 gigawatts. I mean, what does a city use in terms of power?
Yeah.
About that?
That's right. About that. Yeah. Yeah. A small to medium country would probably pull that.
Yeah. Yeah. When you start getting up into megawatts and gigawatts, I don't know what I don't even know what our total production is in Australia.
How many swimming pools is that, right? And on the back of this, Nvidia shares fell 5%. So it's crazy. It's just more money to go around, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And in the meantime, Stripe. So Stripe wants in on the AI game. We've mentioned OpenRouter a few times on the show. Now, I've used the free router in OpenRouter, and I really like the idea of OpenRouter. But if you're doing your transactions on OpenRouter, if you don't know what OpenRouter is, it's basically a marketplace for LLMs. You can have one account, and then you can switch between use their API, and you switch between whichever LLM you want.
It can pick which AI agent to use for specific requests based on the request.
That's right. There's an intelligent router built into it.
Yeah.
Now there is a surcharge for using the platform, obviously. So you pay a little bit more for models, but if you're using DeepSeek 4, it's so cheap anyway, and then you just pay a little bit more for that. That's fine. Stripe was their primary mechanism for charging, and it looks like Stripe is now going to buy OpenRouter.
Yep. Yeah, this is pretty cool, actually. I use Stripe for billing stuff on one of my sites, and it is really cool. It's a good bit of kit. But OpenRouter, I don't know really how it's going to fit into Stripe's business model, being that Stripe is all about payments. No, well...
They don't care. They want in on the AI hype train.
Yeah, probably.
That's all it is.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
Stripe has finalised the deal to acquire OpenRouter. OpenRouter helps customers select different AI models. The company announced in May that it had raised $113 million at a reported $1.3 billion valuation. So they don't have the full money there, but it's $1.3 billion. Which seems like chicken feed compared to everything else, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Wall Street Journal reported last month that Stripe and OpenRouter were in acquisition talks, and Bloomberg said those discussions have now led to a deal price of more than $7 billion.
Okay, right.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Yeah, but everyone wants a piece of it, right?
Oh yeah,
get in somehow.
Yeah.
And a couple of quick ones here to finish the show out. We've got Gemini 3.7 Flash. Used it a little bit during the week. The release comes just 3 weeks after Gemini 3.6 Flash, and is a direct result of developer feedback, and I think you were in those discussions, Ian, and algorithmic innovations that we look forward to bringing to future models. 3.7 Flash delivers substantial improvements across software engineering, knowledge work, and deep development workflows. Been using it yet?
Yeah, I have had a bit of a play with it. It is definitely better than 3.6.
Mm-hmm.
That wouldn't be hard because 3.6 was like stepping back 3 years.
Garbage.
Yep,
Yes.
It was complete garbage. Look, 3.7 is much better. I am still not using it for coding. Google sort of burnt me a little bit with that, with the amount of guff that it did back with 3.5. So I sort of stepped away from coding with it, but definitely for doing a little bit of planning stuff, trying to organize things, it's really, really good.
I've been using it for chat, for meta prompting, that kind of work when I want something quick. Certainly much better on the phone when you're trying to solve a puzzle or trying to solve something and you need to send it a photo. The multimodal is always really handy.
Yeah.
I think is this use case.
Yeah, definitely. So it was interesting. So they've got, like, Google's got all of these graphs there in the in the article about how great it is and how it exceeds everything else. One of the ones that's got in there is the long horizon software engineering using the deep SWE version 1.1 benchmark, right? And they're putting the Gemini 3.7 Flash is at 65.3% over Gemini 3.6, which was 48.6. The winner currently is ChatGPT 5.6 Terra at 69.6. But nowhere in there have you got the actual coding models. Like there's no Claude Opus compared in there. There's no Devon in there.
And isn't SWE like up to 1.6? And they've got 1.1 here? I don't understand that.
No, this is the deep SWE benchmark.
Oh, sorry. Okay,
yeah,
it's the benchmark.
Yeah, not SWE 1.6, but yeah.
Right, okay.
But yeah, they're not comparing Gemini against actual programming models that are designed for software engineering. They're comparing it against other generic sort of, hey, these are the models that might be able to do stuff.
Yeah. Like how does it compare against GLM, I wonder?
Yeah.
Do we have that? We've got a little graph down a little bit. But one thing, before we move on to that, I was going to point out, expert PDF document comprehension. Now, this could be a use case, right? It scores 34%. Now, I don't know if you've tried to do this. You put a PDF into any model and it might understand it. It might extract the information. It might not, right? This is a problem, right? So it scores 34%, whereas the next competitor is Claude Sonnet 5, which we'd expect it to be good, right, is 28%. So a use case here may be put your PDF into Flash 3.7, have it translated into clear text, and then use that clear text in the actual work model that you want to work with.
Yeah. I don't get this because I've done so I'm using Claude on my desktop here, and I've given it PDFs before, and it's been fine. Like complex software design documents, which I'm not designing a to-do app. I'm designing a shooting analyst site, so it detects bullets in space and not in space, but in a specific area and tracks them and all that sort of stuff. So it's not simple software, and Claude seems fine with it. Like it understands the document and it can write out plans for me. And
I'm sure it can. But there's always better. Someone can do it better,
Yeah, but if it's only at 28%, and I think it's good, then I'm going to give Gemini a try with the same document that I've used, and see if it's any better.
Does any better? Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing's for sure, it's cheaper. Right.
Yes.
Average cost per task. Gem 3.6 Flash comes in, what's it saying there? Probably about $4, whereas 3.7 is closer to sort of maybe $2. Doesn't say per watt. It'd be probably per million, I'd say. It's not as cheap as DeepSeek V4 Flash or GPT 5.6 Luna, which we also discussed, which is a model designed for cheapness.
Yes.
And of course, at the top of the scale there, you've got your Claude Opus and Claude Fables on high effort.
Yeah.
They burn the tokens.
Oh, don't they what?
They burn it.
Yeah. They definitely do that very, very well. Hey, it's Quen 3.8 Max is in there too, and it's pretty good. It's not quite as efficient as Gemini 3.7 Flash, but more efficient than 3.6. It costs a little tiny bit more. Like $1 more, maybe.
Yep.
Yeah, cool.
So there you go. Go out and give it a go. Like all these models, they'll have some niche use case, and that's it. Once you figure that out for yourself, you can go ahead and use it.
Yeah.
And then finally, to finish off the show, we have Agent Safehouse. This is the AI pick of the week, AI app pick of the week. Agent Safehouse. What's this all about, Ian? You put this in here. This is from Mac users, right?
Yeah. So if you've got a Mac and you're running AI agents, you've got two options, right? You can run the agent inside a container using Apple containers, which I did some research into as well. So Apple Containers runs the container inside a VM. So containers generally have access to the underlying kernel of the operating system that runs them. That's how they get their runtimes and everything. Whereas Apple Container actually runs a VM, a lightweight VM for every container that you run. So it's container bound, essentially. So it doesn't get access to the host kernel.
So it runs its own kernel?
It runs its own kernel inside that container.
Right.
And, it runs its own kernel inside the VM that the container then runs on top of.
Right, okay.
Is how it works. It's a weird way of thinking about containers. It's a container inside a VM on top of a machine.
Right.
There you go. Agent Safehouse it's a really cool little project that allows you to sandbox your AI agent on your Mac without having to run a bazillion containers on your Mac because that seems counterintuitive to me. So, yeah, you just run this Agent Safehouse, and then there's a whole heap of commands there that allow you to start up Safehouse with specific agents. So you can add some aliases into your ZSH shell, and then every time you call Claude or Gemini or insert model here, it will start it up with Safehouse running. So you can, so it's always contained. The one thing that weirds me out about this is Safehouse has this switch called dangerously skip permissions, right? And it recommends that you start the Safehouse with this switch. Like every example that it's got has got like safe Claude -- dangerously - skip - permissions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but
that's a Claude option.
Right? No. That's a for every different. So Claude's got dangerously skip permissions. Codex has got dangerously bypass approvals and sandbox. AMP's got dangerously allow all. Like it must be a specific permission for those. But I'm like, why would I skip permissions for a specific AI agent?
Just let it have at it.
I mean, I understand that it's running in a safe house, like in a sandbox, but I still don't get why I would allow it to do whatever it wanted inside of that sandbox. That seems counterintuitive to the whole promise of running inside of a sandbox.
Yeah. And as we've seen, they can escape the sandbox anyway.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, it's a tool there. Give it a wallop. I had a bit of a play with it. You know, it does stuff.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, and I'm sure there's similar things for Linux and Windows getting around as well.
Oh, there's plenty of them out there.
Yeah. But I've been running my models in a container in Proxmox anyway. That's the way I've been doing my agents since day dot.
Yeah, right.
All right, well, that's a good one. I'll chuck a link in the show notes. Go check that out. That's about it for the show. Don't forget, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Music. Go to Apple Podcasts, write a review to really help the show out. And go to YouTube, and while you're there, why don't you smash that like button and start the discussion there. Contact us. Contact at gcbbytes.com.au. Find us on the web, www.gcbbytes.com.au. And today's sponsors are Hivetech Solutions, Technofish Consulting, and Mantle Group. Well, that's about it from us. I think we've said just about enough today, haven't we, Ian?
Oh, I think so, mate.
We better go check in on Dave and see how things are going in the land of VMware.
All right. That's it.
And we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.
Put him to 100 megabit. That'll do it.
It's on 10 megabit at the moment. And it sits at 10 meg every single day of the week. All day and all night.
Hammering the torrents, is he?
Oh, I don't know what he's downloading. I could probably have a look, but I'm scared.